And we are live.
Good morning, everyone. It's the one and only Optimus Primate with my main man, El Cucatron. And we are together, combined, bringing you the news, the views, and all the information important to you. You can find us at roguemoney.net. Check us out and follow us on Twitter at the Rogue Money and Rogue Money on the Facebook, the DTube, the Steam It. We are everywhere you want us to be on every single podcasting app known to humanity. Subscribe to this channel, hit it with a thumbs up, tell us you love us, leave a comment below. Hopefully it's a positive comment, CJ, and not all the hate we've been getting. I'm kidding. We haven't been getting any hate. Like 90% of everything we've been getting is all positive. You're always going to have the 10% of the haters. They can't change their minds. It is what it is. I love it. I love all the haters. It's all good. Anyway, guys, you could check out all the work that we do at Rogue Money. Got an amazing team there. Great articles. Follow us over there. And we bring you jam-packed, nonstop action with our litany of guests and shows that we do on this channel. It really is a treat. You'll find something for everyone here on Rogue Money. And also check out our sponsors, RemainCalm.net, RemainCalm.net. Do you need help with your credit score? Are you sick of being treated like a second-class citizen? RemainCalm.net will help you with that. Also, if you need money, if you have no credit issues whatsoever, you just want some money to start a new business, you want some funds to, I don't know, get a dream home, or you just saw and you just realized after soul searching that the Porsche 911T that's just been announced by Porsche is the dream car for you and you can't afford it. Well, then maybe you need to go and check out the guys over at RemainCalm.net and let them help you get the Porsche of your dreams. Now, folks, remember, this is investment advice. Porsches are a great investment. 911s are a wonderful investment. I'm kidding. I kid. Please don't take me seriously. Jeez, I can predict. Someone's going to report me to the FCC now, CJ. Oh, man. Anyway. Whatever money you need, a dream Ferrari, a McLaren, a big house, or you want to get some cryptos and do some investing for yourself, RemainCalm will help you with that. RemainCalm.net. Now, folks, yesterday we announced, and we're going to redo a show with better audio because the audio was terrible. It was horrible, and we cannot release some horrible audio because it will wind up ruining the show. And we had Frank and Mr. X on, and we were talking about the Silverback. The Silverback Monkey Attack amazing operating system has been released. You can surf the web anonymously, give your middle finger, one finger salute to the NSA while you do it, as well as secure your Bitcoin wallet all in one shot. I mean, dude, it's better than a Trezor. I mean, think about it. You got 1024-bit elliptical grade, military grade elliptical encryption. It has persistent volume on there, which allows you to, load it up with programs, software, and whatnot. Pretty awesome device. Check it out. mygoldusb.com. Go to mygoldusb.com and click on the link for the Silverback. It's on sale this month for the holidays. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Get that Silverback. $299. Regular price is $329. You can get it for $299 for this month of December. The Silverback is here, folks, and I'm excited. It is a sexy piece of hardware, too. It is all metal and glass. Put it on the glass, CJ. Put it on the glass. The Silverback. Nice. MyGoldUSB.com. Get that Silverback because that's where it's at. Love it. I love mine. I use it to send all types of encrypted messages over to CJ, letting him know how much tamales I've eaten that day and what are the latest burger joints I've been visiting. So, yeah. So it's encrypted messaging, encrypted web browsers, all this other stuff. Amazing office software, and I think eventually we're going to be rolling out updates on it where you will be able to get a URL on the dark web for you, for your business, for your personal needs. I mean, it's where it's at. Folks, it's time to leave the internet. It's time to decentralize the internet, and the best place to go is into the dark web. Let's make the dark web the light web and make it the place where we hang out and the best ideas and creative talent is utilized. You can join that fight by going to mygoldusb.com. Click on the Silverback link, and we're on and popping. And speaking about the Silverback and securing your Bitcoin wallet, folks, check out a project that I'm absolutely proud of, and it's just going to get better and better and better and better as we evolve it. thecryptoschool.io, thecryptoschool.io, brought to you by yours truly, along with my accomplices, Vin Armani and Frank Delala. We are killing it and taking names. We'll show you which wallets to use, which exchanges, how to move from fiat to crypto and back again, and learn about what's hot and what's not. All of it is a powerful educational tool. Get your feet wet. Get you sheep dipped into the reality of this new paradigm that we're all into, thecryptoschool.io. And with that out of the way, CJ, what's crack-a-lackin'?
Hey, good morning, V. Good morning. I'm doing great, V, and I don't know whether to start off the show this morning with jumping right into the seriousness or talking a little bit about humor, things that are occurring. So, which do you prefer?
Let's start off with the humor, man.
Start with the humor. I sent out a tweet last night, and I saw this trending on Facebook regarding the latest craze in Manchester. And it's called the Christmas boob, the new craze sweeping Manchester.
Christmas boob.
And apparently, and there's tons of pictures of women at parties. Apparently what they're doing is that they'll leave one boob hanging out and they'll put a sparkly thing over their nipple that looks like Rudolph's nose. And then they'll put two eyes above, the breast, and then they'll put reindeer ears. And apparently the Christmas boob is the newest craze in Manchester. I'm so proud of how we've evolved as a society, V.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm going to do that myself. I'm going to whip it out, and I'm actually just did a Google image search, and I'm looking at various Christmas boobs right now. I'm inspired. I'm going to do this holiday season. I like this one. I'm going to wear a sweater, a Christmas sweater, CJ. The ones with the snowflakes and the Santa Claus and all that knit.
Yeah, real nice. Yeah.
And I'm going to cut my left chest out. I'm going to cut out that left chest of mine, and I'm going to put a little Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, sparkly thing as a nose, and then put two eyes. That'll be a scary. It wouldn't even look like a Christmas boob. It'll look like a Christmas Sasquatch with a red nose. If I were to do it, it would just be totally.
Yeah, but I wanted to, I read through that last night, and obviously after you indulge in the news cycle of the evening, you have to look for some humor. But that caught my eye for more than one reason. But yeah, but anyway, yeah. But
I'm disappointed. I mean, we as innovators and mavericks, and we as a society, we as innovators and mavericks, and being Americans, being the leaders of the world, how come we didn't come up with this? How come it had to be the British?
I don't know.
Very disappointing. Very disappointing.
Yeah, it's odd, but but jumping into more serious topics, I think that without saying that probably the discussion today regarding Trump and the potential announcement that the U.S. Embassy in Israel will be moving to Jerusalem and therefore potentially declaring Jerusalem the capital of Israel is sending shockwaves throughout the Middle East. I did some research. I'm no biblical scholar and everything else like that, but obviously there's a lot of history here, right? So what's your take on that, V?
Well, this is stupid. Okay, I think here's the deal. Jerusalem, you're gonna have a lot of people. I mean, yes, in scripture, I forgot where it was. I think somewhere in Isaiah, and again, people are going to use all sorts of misconstrued eschatology to somehow validate it for today. And there's a verse in Isaiah, I think it was, or it could have been Jeremiah, where it says, "Behold, in the last day, behold, in that time, the Lord shall make Jerusalem a cup of trembling for the nations of the world." And people, I can see how people like that idiot John Hagee, he looks like a Scud missile in a suit. He looks like an atomic bomb. He says that fat lardo is Christian Zionist weirdo Jack. I can't stand him. I can picture idiots like him going on stage right now with this whole announcement and then cheering on this. Oh, yes, this is good. We're recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. And I can imagine them, celebrating this and saying, you know what, this is it. It's validating what it says in the book of the prophets and Jeremiah, this, that, and the other. And look, Jerusalem has become a cup of trembling to the nations of the world. And if you don't know your history, especially biblical history, and you don't know the context of what the heck is being said here and what is being done, folks, Jerusalem has always been a problematic piece of geography in the Middle East. Jerusalem has been sacked 55 times, held 42 times, and back again. I mean, Jerusalem prior to the Hebrews or the children of Israel coming out of Egypt, as the story goes, when they came into the promised land, what did you have in Jerusalem? You had, who was inhabiting it? Well, you had at one point in Jerusalem, you had the Perizzites, the Hittites, the Jebusites. Okay, in fact, the Jebusites is the main reason why it's called Jerusalem, the city of the Jebusites. Now, fast forward, into the early 20th century, right, the 1900s and whatnot. Jerusalem was a place of mixture. It was fought over during the Crusades. Prior to that, I mean, let's go back to the Crusades, the Middle Ages, and whatnot. So it's always been a problematic piece of geography. And even in the late early 1900s, it's always been a mixed city. It's always been like you had Christians and Muslims and Jews and Zoroastrians and Baha'i and all these all sorts of people living in Jerusalem. Okay. Then in 1948, the Rothschild colonization project, which backfired because the natives decided to fight back, called Israel, happened. The modern state of Israel. Okay. And so somehow, if you guys study the story, I mean, Theodor Herzl, one of the fathers of Zionism, and every single one of these Zionistic leaders, even David Ben Gurion, I forgot what Ben Gurion's original name was, but these guys were atheists. They were atheists, but they were talking about a divine right of return. I'm sorry, but you just simply cannot have it both ways. You cannot simply say you believe in the concept of greater Israel and then originally push for your little Israel plan to have a parcel of land in Uganda and Africa. That's just historical truth. You can't argue that. So now you've inserted Eastern European people into the Middle East. And these are people that have genetically, it's been done over again. This is let's have an adult conversation. No politicizing, no hate. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Right.
Okay. When you take a population of Eastern European and those of Eastern European descent and from the Caucasus and from Eastern Europe and whatnot, and then you've injected them into the land in a parcel of land in the Middle East on the Mediterranean, and say that you're the original inhabitants when you do not have any blood lineage to that land. There's no historical lineage. Okay? Benjamin Netanyahu is Polish. And you can say, well, you trace back his roots long enough, it goes back to Israel. You trace back all of our roots long enough, and I'm sure we all come from Adam and Eve. Okay? So let's not use that argument. The native populations of that time. Now, people say, well, before the Jews returned, the Jews have always been there. There were Sephardic Jews. There were, Jews in North Africa. There are Jews in Ethiopia. There are Jews in Yemen. There's 50,000 Jews living in Tehran in Iran, and they've been there for millennium. They love it over there. Let's have an adult conversation. When you've come into the new land stating that you are the indigenous people, then you go about displacing violently in some cases, and we've seen this with guys like Ariel Sharon, right? When you violently displace certain populations from certain villages, and there are videos of this. Look, I was mortified when I saw the videos of what was happening. You're going to create bad blood. I don't care who you are. You're going to create a generation of hate. And it doesn't even have to be Islamic. You have to understand this, folks. The people that were living there, let's just say they were Buddhists. Okay, and they just like did nothing but that's all they did all day. All day. Right? And all of a sudden, these
Right.
you know, colored, brown-skinned Buddhists that all they did was in their orange robes. And all of a sudden, you got these fair-skinned Europeans saying that we're the indigenous people. Folks, that is about as real as at the end of slavery, okay? A bunch of white folk from America wound up in Africa and started claiming that they are the original Africans. It's insanity. It doesn't make sense. And yet these are the adult conversations no one's having. You see, if we begin to have an adult conversation about this, we can find a solution for this cluster F. Because that is what modern day Israel has become. It's become a cluster F. What do I mean by that? Let me define it further. And this is not hate towards Jews or hate towards Palestinians or vice versa or whatnot. Okay.
Yeah, you really have to check your emotions on this.
You got to check your emotions on it, because people get, every time a topic like this is brought up, I hear the idiots like, "Oh, it's a Jewish conspiracy." Stop. This is why I said, CJ, I want to get the guys who think it's a Jewish conspiracy. I want like a tournament, like a Mortal Kombat tournament, like a UFC cage fight, right? You have one side who thinks that everything in the world is a Jewish conspiracy. Now, whoever wins that fight, they have to go up against the guys who thinks that everything is a Catholic conspiracy. And then the winners will take on the Masons. Okay? All right? Folks, you have to understand, everybody in every religious group, and the Latin word for religion is religio, which means to bind up and tie up. That is why yours truly hates organized religion. That is why yours truly loves spiritual books, be it the Bible, be it other things. And I, being a Christian, I filtered things through my understanding of what ancient Christianity is all about, not this modern day evangelical BS. Okay. And so I have an idea of what what I believe and what works for myself. But when I'm talking about, when I see these people getting heated, understand this: religion, an organized religion, is a corrupted thing that's been used by the controllers of of the world, the powers that be, to manipulate, cajole, and control, and to limit you and your thinking. It is a type of fear-based control. Period. Punto final. Okay? Now, you have this whole situation, folks, and what I'm trying to say is this, and let's have this adult conversation. Back to the Buddhist analogy. If these Buddhists were all of a sudden attacked, their cities were bombed, okay? And this is what happened. They were chased off their land, and then all of a sudden they were thrown out of their homes and said, "This is not your home anymore. This is our home. We're going to live here. This is not your farm anymore. This is our farm. We're going to live here. You're no longer allowed here." You're going to be kind of pissed off. You're going to be kind of pissed off. And you fast forward to today, and if you were looking at a map at Israel when it invented itself in 1948, okay, when it invented itself in 1948 and said, "Okay, we are Israel, we're the indigenous people," and this whole farce, and literally, let's have an adult conversation. It is this whole farce. It was done the wrong way. It was done through violence, and you cannot tell me that. I can show you 1,000,000,001 video footage. Now, you might say photos will lie, but you cannot say videos lie. And I have original footage of what happened in 47, 48, and in 49, and in 50. Okay? It will shock you what I've seen. It's unbelievable. Okay? So we've had that occur. You're going to be pissed off. And then if you look at the map of how it was in Israel, you have Palestine, you have Gaza, you have the West Bank, and then you fast forward it from 48 all the way to 2017, you will see the populations that are happening, the populations in Gaza and the West Bank, and the territory shrinking, like it is disappearing. Folks, I have no other word to call it, but there's a serious, it's genocide. And then the powers that be would make the Jew hate the Arab, okay, and make the Arab hate the Jew. And then you have this infighting, okay? And then, folks, it's a cluster mess. It's a cluster mess. Then you have every single president as some sort of a ploy to go ahead and go to the Wailing Wall, which is supposed to be a temple, and that is BS. That is the wall, folks, of an old Roman fort. Okay, Solomon's temple was not there. When the Romans raised Jerusalem, it's the third time that it was raised, which was in AD 70, right? When they raised Jerusalem, it kind of fulfilled the prophecy of what Christ was talking about. He said, the day is coming where not one stone shall be left upon the other. What the hell did he mean by that? If you study history, when the Romans, the original temple site from where the Wailing Wall is a couple hundred yards in another direction. It is a way far out there in the western side. So this Wailing Wall where you have U.S. presidents come and bow before it and weep before it and put little notes in there is BS. Can we have an adult conversation? Can we have an adult conversation? Forget your religious proclivities. Let's take your religious proclivities and your religious brain, let's unhook it, and let's throw it out the window. Let's have an adult conversation. There's nothing spiritual about that wall. That wall, I think it belonged to Antiochus or Antinomian, the fort. It's an old Roman fort. The original temple was way off into the western area. It's not even there. And that temple, the Romans raised it. What do you mean? When the Romans raised something, you know what they did? They actually dug under the earth and pulled out the very foundation stones. So fulfilling the prophecy of Christ, whether you want to believe it or not, when he said, not one stone, the foundations will be raised, not one stone shall be upon the other. That happened. Okay? So now you have this whole entire fraud. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like when you really study Israel, and folks, I don't have a problem against Jews. I love Jewish people. I love everybody. Okay? I have friends of mine, very close friends of mine that I love dearly who are Jewish, who are like brothers. My business partner is Jewish, and I love him. Okay? My other business partner in Hong Kong, okay, is Jewish, and I love him. There's a difference between Judaism and Zionism, and people need to understand the difference. Just like there's a difference between a conservative and a liberal, and there's a difference between a conservative and a neoconservative, a neocon. Okay? It's a dangerous ideology. It's a dangerous ideology. Let's have an adult conversation. Okay? So you have this modern day mess. And we could say that today, fast forward 50, 60 years, you could say those of the European descent that are in Israel don't have a right to be there and they should leave, blah, 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 blah. Well, you can't say that now because they've been there for, at least 2 generations at this point. Okay?
Right.
Land has been captured. I don't want anybody dying. It is a cluster F. Okay, can we just call it what it is? I'm going to use some profanity here. It's a clusterfuck. That's what that whole region of the world is. And it's a clusterfuck by design. Okay? Rothschild wanted it to be that way. And Rothschild was like, oh, Rothschild, he's a Jew. He's a Satanist. He's a Luciferian. It's as far away from Toranic, notice I didn't say Talmudic, Toranic, from the Torah, Judaism, that you can possibly be. Okay? I'm sorry. Okay? So that being said, how do you undo this? Well, you undo it by bringing peace. You have to bring healing. Look, there are Palestinian kids. I've seen the videos. Palestinian kids who are just like American kids. They love to play video games. They love to go nightclub dance. These are not crazy Islamists. When you create abject poverty and you have this enemy, us against them mentality all the time, you're going to create terrorists. You're going to create terrorists. And let's have an adult conversation here. One man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter, and you might not like the way he fights. You might not like the way that he's willing to strap bombs to himself and run into a cafe and blow himself up. You might not like that, but he thinks that he's justified in doing that because his entire family was wiped out in a bombing because they didn't vacate a building in time because somebody knocked on the door and told them, hey, you got 15 minutes to get out. If you don't get out, and they're trying to pack their belongings, trying to get out, and the building blew up. These things happen. Maybe he's pissed off because white phosphorus, which is banned by the UN, which is banned by the Geneva War Conventions, white phosphorus was dropped on his roof, and it burned through his roof, it burned through his attic, It burned through his wife and children as they were sleeping, burned through the bottom floor, killed his dog, and burned down into his basement. Maybe he's pissed off about that. Maybe he's pissed off about the fact that depleted uranium rounds used for anti-armor when you're a people that are throwing rocks. And you got these little World War II era Katushka rockets, and all of a sudden you're getting hit with depleted uranium rounds, which are designed to bust up tank armor. And now a whole region of your area has birth defects, and no one wants to say why. Everybody knows it's from the DU. It's from the depleted uranium. Maybe he's pissed off against that. Do you see, when you do this much shit to people, and people got nothing left to lose, they lose it. CJ, let's be honest here. If this type of shit was happening to us, I would be killing people daily. I don't know about you, but I would probably be pushed to that type of madness. Anybody would, CJ. Any red-blooded man, if you got two balls hanging between your legs, you'd be driven to do that because you've lost everything. You've lost everything. This is what happens. This is why that whole area of the world is a clusterfuck. Excuse my French. And the only way to fix it, folks, is through mutually beneficial economic trade. Economics, listen to what the gorilla has been saying for years now. Economics is the most powerful driver in human civilization. You have language, and the advent of language was because of economic reasons. The reason you have books is from economic reasons. So if there's an economic benefit for a Jew to keep a Palestinian alive, then that Palestinian will be alive. If there's an economic benefit for that Palestinian to make sure that that Jew is not hurt and that he's alive, he will make sure that that Jew is not hurt and he's alive. And there are forces, folks, that want this bullshit conflict that's been going on for the last several decades stop. You know, people say, oh, the Jews and the Palestinians, they've been killing each other for thousands of years. No, they haven't. In Haifa, prior and even after the advent of modern-day Israel started, Jews and Arabs were living fine. They would look and tend after each other's gardens while one went off to war. No issues. No issues. So you have to understand this, guys. I understand the whole history of the invention of modern-day Israel. But it is what it is. Can we have an adult conversation? Can we be pragmatic about it? It is what it is. This is the clusterfuck that you and I have to undo. We're going to have to figure it out. Because these idiot world leaders, they're not going to do it. These morons are going to kowtow to that stupid Wailing Wall on, Fort Antiochus in the Roman fort, putting letters into a Roman fort, praying to a god behind the wall of a Roman fort. Meanwhile, the real temple has been razed. The real temple, which is way, way off. The foundations were pulled from out underneath that damn thing. And people go into this and saying, this is the temple. The whole Temple Mount movement is a scam. Politically incorrect to say it, but can we have an adult conversation? The way we're going to save lives in Israel that's going to benefit Israelis, Jew and Arab, Palestinian, and the small amounts of Christians that are thrown in there is with economics, is with trade, is to bring Palestine and Israel economically up. And you cannot do it when you have sycophants that are bought into these crazy, dangerous religious and political ideas. So Trump going out and saying that Jerusalem is a capital of Israel is a stupid move. Is a stupid move. At what point was Jerusalem the capital? Was when the kingdom was divided into the northern and the southern kingdom? At what point was it the capital? It is a stupid move. It is an affront. People need to understand what the hell's going on here. And this reeks of Jared Kushner and Netanyahu. It reeks of the controllers over at AIPAC. This is not how you fix the problem. You don't fix the Middle Eastern problem by constantly bringing up that religious historical bullshit. Always citing it. always citing it, but in a misconstrued way. Case in point, when Netanyahu, CJ, when he was in Russia, when he was in that visit with Moscow, what are the first thing this moron opened up with? Well, 3,500 years ago, the Persian Empire was trying to kill the Jews, and then Putin had to get up and said, "This is not 3,500 years ago. This is not 3,500 years ago. This is 2017."
Right. Yeah. Well said, V. And that's the challenge, to understand exactly, what the goal here. And it's interesting to listen to a lot of commentary, but you broke it down very well. So we have, at one point, one side that is, making this completely political, stating that, Trump is doing this to shore up his base, regarding the evangelical movement, the following that he has here in the U.S.
Bunch of morons.
I'm not exactly sure how broken. There's some people out there stating that this is, more 4D chess. That
4D chess.
That there's an attempt out there, that there's negotiations going on.
Probably.
But however, without a doubt, when you take a look at, what's happening, it's definitely, escalating a lot of events in the Middle East. You have Erdogan out there calling for an urgent summit, to bring,
that's fine,
massive leaders together to discuss it. But again, how is this going to broker peace? How is this going to bring about some of that what was promised, delivered to bring peace to the Middle East? It's very complex. It's very emotionally charged. A lot of history here. But then again, we own this. This is us now. So without a doubt, very interesting to see how these events will unfold.
Man, absolutely correct, man. It's a stupid move. It's a stupid move. And, it's like everybody in the world this day has their brains removed, and everybody's so emotionally charged about this whole Israel-Palestine situation, when it's a really easy fix. It's a really easy fix. But the fix is something that nobody wants because it's not politically expedient and it's not politically possible. And that's the situation here. So these politicians need to be removed out of the way. That's how you fix the problem. It's beyond stupid. It's beyond stupid. And this is, look, there are lunatic, psychopathic Muslims, guaranteed. But there's a ton of Muslims who are not. There are a ton of Muslims who are just like you and I. They want to send their kids to school. They like going shopping at the mall, and they, once in a while, like having a cheeseburger. And there are even a few that'll even have it with some bacon. And they'll knock down a cold one with you.
There you go.
And those are the ones who are being slaughtered the most by fundamentalist Islam. Fundamentalist Islam kills more Muslims than anybody else. Okay, let's not get that twisted. That's a fact. And when you look at most of these fundamentalist Islamic organizations, these terror groups like ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Al-Nusra, what do you find? You find the fingerprints of Western intelligence. It's the same thing with the freaking KKK. You go to the KKK, it's like going to an FBI convention. Everybody's is an FBI informant. Everybody's an FBI asset. Does the same thing with these terror groups. You got to find a bunch of useful idiots. Well, you'll find a bunch of useful idiots in some of these areas, like in Gaza and the West Bank. You'll find a lot of useful idiots. Why? Because they've lost everything. Some of these guys have lost their wives, their children, their families. And they feel this is the only way they're going to get revenge. This is how you make the world a worse place. And I'm telling you right now, the long-term play is this. Trump says that, Jerusalem's Israel's capital. What's going to happen is going to alienate the entire Arab world to the U.S. The U.S. is already a persona non grata at this point in the Middle East. And what's going to happen is the Arab world always needs some sort of outside stabilizing force to make it normal, because it cannot stabilize itself. The Arab world is going to look to where? China, Russia. So if Trump is going to go ahead and normalize, hey, Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, go right ahead. It's hastening the demise of both Israel. It's hastening the demise of both Israel and the United States all at the same time. So if the United States and Israel is going to go down with the ship, they're just going to go down with the ship. So the question
and
becomes,
that's important to remember.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro.
I was just going to say, yeah, very interesting to point that out, because that is absolutely correct in regards to the U.S. losing influence, in the Middle East. There's, no more clear sign in that than what's occurring, in Syria.
Yep.
With the fact that the Russians now have came in and a new order, in the Middle East. We're seeing a lot of pivotal change happening. So we're instituting this this potential change at a point where U.S. influence is probably the lowest it's been in several decades. V.
Yep, it's the lowest it's ever been, and dollar usage as a trade currency is the lowest it's ever been, ever since the advent of the dollar as world reserve currency. So all this is going to do at the end of the day, folks, is going to further isolate the United States. It's going to isolate Israel. We're going to be in the economic outside looking in kind of deal. And what it's going to do, it's going to send the entire Middle East, and they're going to go right to the arms of the Russians and the Chinese. And by the way, China is already operational in Syria. Okay, China's fully operational in Syria right now. Their military is there as quote unquote advisors. Their special forces, dragon water and whatnot. So, and if you look at the global map, the new Petro Yuan that's coming out, the One Belt, One Road initiative, the Middle East will be a perfect piece of that entire puzzle. And then hopefully Israel wakes up and the people in Israel get rid of the stupid government that's there, reformat the Likud, drain their swamp, and maybe the U.S. could drain its swamp finally, and we could have some real constructive dialogue. But this whole entire nonsense over some religious BS that has no merit in facts or history is very dangerous. That's why you don't need people like Jared Kushner and flying around the White House. It's a big problem. Big problem.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. And like I said, whether it's speculation at this point that's coming out, this is being reported from multiple sources, multiple angles. So it'll again to watch this be unfold and to be living through these most interesting times. Just amazing, just truly amazing.
Yeah, it is, man. It's it is what it is. It is what it is. There's ramifications. No one wants to be an adult and deal with it. That's what the whole thing is. Anyway, man, what else is going on?
Well, we have an interview coming up at 10 o'clock. So we're going to be. We'll see if we record that or we do that live, but we'll wait and see. But I think as far as we can go to the other topics if you want, but looking at the time, maybe we save some of these topics for tomorrow's show.
Yeah, we'll save it for tomorrow. And Bitcoin's at 13,000, bitches.
Wow, that is amazing.
Bitcoin hit the door, $12,887. It touched 13 grand at one point. Woohoo!
Yeah, interesting time, and that's right after Zero Hedge released a report stating that the dollar suffers its worst year 3, and the future looks even grimmer in regards to the fallout of the fiat dollar. V.
Right, exactly. All right, folks, we got a lot of interviews coming up. We got Hump Day with my man Bixie Bix. He's going to be on the hit ass boy. So Bix is coming in. He's going to be dropping the knowledge on us. And what else we got going on, Siege?
Yeah, 10 a.m. So there's a great documentary that's getting ready to come out, and it's a guy that basically has started his several years ago. Started a hemp farm in Colorado, and last year he documented an entire trip across the country in a biofuel, probably hemp-based, talking about the hemp industry, the 3,000 products that can come from it.
Wow.
Has been huge in terms of it. I'm excited for this documentary to come out because we're on the forefront of a major escalation of medical independence, medical liberty here in the state. We have a very aggressive attorney general, followed up with a governor that have absolutely no idea and are not following the will of the people. So it's great timing to have him on. So again, we need to get with him because I wasn't sure if we were going to go live or do a record with him, but we'll keep our audience posted, V.
Absolutely. And with that being said, folks, we are over and out. Take it away, CJ.